Way down in Dixie, oh, do they miss me down along Dixie line? Banjos are strumming, horseflies humming, ripe melons on the vine. The gold and the gray, we'd sing look away, way down along the Dixie line. I spent my childhood walking the wildwood down along Dixie line. Freight trains are squalling, highballs mauling, four engines at a time. Happy with Mama and Pappy down along the Dixie line. Can't you see those drivers well? Can't you see those bright rails shine? Gonna catch that fireball man, leaving Northland far behind. A river of whiskey flows down in Dixie, down along the Dixie line. They pulled up the tracks now, I can't go back now, can't hardly keep from crying. Oh, do they miss me way down in Dixie, down along the Dixie line? Can't you hear those drivers well? Can't you see those bright rails shine? I'm gonna catch that fireball man, leaving Northland far behind. Down along the Dixie line. Yeah, I was gonna try to put some cool riffing, but I don't think I'm gonna go that direction. cool version. There's a couple covers of this song you can check out, but the original is the best. Gillian Welch and David Rawlings, Down Along the Dixie Line. It's a good summertime jam. You could jam on this for hours. Like, it's just a mellow song. It's probably the perfect summertime song. It's kind of about summertime a little bit. Being from New Jersey, like, I hear Wildwood and I just think of going down to the shore. But I'm sure they're singing about different things, about Southern culture and stuff. Down Along a Dixie Line. I don't know. It sounds like a Southern summertime type of feel. There's like a gothic feel to this. There's a happy, joyous feel. Is there any minor chords? I don't think so. I think it's all major. It's like that weird A chord, whatever that's called. That's like a happy chord. It's not A minor. A minor is kind of depressing. This is like a bright, whatever this chord's called, A7 or something. 0, 2, 0, 2, 0. I think it's A7 or something. That's like a happy sounding chord. But yeah, this is probably my favorite. I can't pick a favorite song by Gillian Welch, David Rawlings, but it's one of them. They play this at most of their concerts, I think. It's usually on the playlist because it's one of those songs. They create this atmosphere you can kind of disappear in. And I've said it, like, they're probably the best live act I've ever seen. And I haven't seen a lot of concerts in my life, so I'm probably not the right person to judge things, but I'm pretty sure anyone, even if you see like a concert a week in your entire life, like if you never went to see Gillian Welch and David Rawlings, whether it's just them two or if they have other people with them, the Dave Rawlings machine, go check it out because you're not going to be disappointed by the musicianship and the songwriting that they have and the harmonies. The harmonies is what got me the first time. But yeah, I used to take road trips maybe once a year for a couple of years. Every time I would get 2 weeks vacation or a week vacation, I would take a week and drive to go see their show somewhere. Indiana, North Carolina. I think most of the time it was in North Carolina because from New Jersey you could get to Charlotte or Carborough in maybe 7 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours. So it's not that bad of a drive. Going all the way to Tennessee is kind of too far. So yeah, I used to take road trips all the time. Usually it was North Carolina, the Cat's Cradle, the Ram Cat in Winston-Salem. I forget the other ones, to be honest. Maybe Indiana was the Bluebird, and maybe Kentucky. Did I go to Kentucky too? I don't remember. But most of the time it was North Carolina, Charlotte, the Neighborhood Theater, I think it's called. And I did see them long time ago when they came to Philadelphia. Maybe that was like for the Nashville Obsolete album tour. I don't remember exactly. So I did see them when they came to Philadelphia once. And yeah, they're on tour now. I think they're still on tour. yeah, they're the best live act I've ever seen, and maybe they've inspired me more than anybody else. It's hard to say because I don't set out to write songs like Gillian Welch or David Rawlings. They have a connection with their voices and their guitar playing that's you can't really try to replicate. And I picked this song because I could kind of get through it pretty easily. It's a simple folky song, but the way they do it brings it up a level because they just master that type of music. When they sing together, it's like they create another layer of, I don't know, I'm gonna sound cheesy and stuff, but just a new type of harmony. Like they just go perfectly together, and they have a cool story. I think she wanted to be just a songwriter, and then she went to Nashville with him, and she started performing and gaining a following that way. And some, I guess Emmylou Harris like picked one of her songs, and Orphan Girl and some other songs got sold to people, and I guess she just made her way like that. So it's a cool story. Yeah, there's a lot of songs I could have picked. I knew I would have to pick something from Gillian Welch because it is a big influence on me. Just in terms of, you could have two people on acoustics with no drums, at least when they do shows like that, when it's just them two. Those are my favorite, to be honest. Even though it's cool to get like the other musicians they have, a fiddle player, Brittany Haas, I think her name is, and they had an upright bass player, and sometimes they'll have other people playing stuff. I think it's cool when it's just them two because it's more of like just a minimalist harmony, and their voices just go together perfectly, man. And so, yeah, I would prefer just seeing them two with no other instruments, just them and their guitars, because it's like more of just I don't know the word, ethereal. It's an otherworldly experience. It's well worth the drive if you have to drive to go see them. And yeah, it was always cool for me. I like taking road trips anyway, but if you're gonna go on a road trip by yourself, it's already kind of weird to just hit the road by yourself. But at least I had a destination. Like I would go to North Carolina to see them. One time I saw them, and the next night I saw Sarah Jarosz. So yeah, it was cool to at least drive somewhere and have a destination at least. And yeah, I keep saying I need to drive out west because I've never driven out west. I've driven to the south, all the way to New Orleans, down to Florida, but I've never driven out west past like the Mississippi. I've never been out there, and that's the next destination. At some point. I only did this song maybe 2 or 3 times. I was gonna try to add some cool guitar stuff, but if you want to listen to cool technical guitar stuff, just go listen to Dave Rawlings, because he's probably like either my favorite guitarist, because he uses a cool instrument. It's like this old Epiphone guitar, and it's kind of just, it's so weird to watch him play. In terms of like acoustic guitar player, yeah, I think he's probably the best I've heard. And yeah, I'm sure he could jam on electric just as well, but it's just weird. He's got this old Epiphone guitar, and he has stories about it too, how he got it. I don't know, it's like from the 30s or some shit like that. And yeah, he does crazy stuff. And yeah, taking nothing away from Gillian Welch, because she can play crazy stuff too. I just think they complement each other perfectly with their guitar playing, and their voices just go perfectly together. And yeah, this is a fun song. You could play so many of their songs, are kind of give you this feel like this, where you just want to be out in the sun, away from civilization, and just jam out to songs like this. It's an escapist type of music, I think, whether the Revelator or the Harvest album, or even the earlier ones, which are kind of more standard folk stuff and maybe more gospel-y. Maybe a couple songs like By the Mark. They have a couple of like very old-time religion songs, which are cool. Like they can write cool gospel songs too. And yeah, they could. Like I got really obsessed. I had to look up like every song they ever covered, and there's some cool ones. Like I think they cover "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and they do like a folky version of that. And yeah, there's some other ones that she covers a lot of Neil Young stuff, Albuquerque. I talk about it in my book more that I went to a thrift store a long time, maybe 2018, and I found Neil Young Tonight's the Night, like a very clean vinyl copy of it for like $2. And I was about to go home, and I was like looking at the record. I'm like, oh, Albuquerque's on this one. So I looked up the Gillian Welch version of Albuquerque, which is still a great song. Albuquerque's really fun song to play. And then I saw they were on tour, so the next day I went spontaneously. I just took a trip to North Carolina, and that's when I met them, and they signed my guitar. That was at the Ramcat in Winston-Salem. That was the last time I went to see a show like that, 2018. And yeah, it was just an interesting kind of thing. I wasn't planning to go. And then I found that record. If I didn't find that record at that thrift store, I wouldn't have had the idea to go at all. I found the record, and then I was like, oh, let me hear the Gillian Welch cover. I looked it up on my phone, and then I saw they were on tour. So then I went to Parks Casino, and I gambled for a couple hours to try to make some money. And I talk about the more in detail in my book, the whole story about it. And then the next morning, I rode down to North Carolina. I think it was 2018. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It's just cool. Sometimes you just need to take off, man. The road trips I took, they were a good chance to escape, and I wrote maybe, I don't know, 15 to 20 songs from those road trips. One specific one was during like the summertime. I drove all through like all the mountain regions, the Blue Ridge Mountains and stuff, and I wrote all these like gospel inspired songs and folky songs. When I got back, I was like, I'm gonna write a gospel album or like a country album. And I was like, yeah, I can't pull this off. I don't think I could. Even a song like this, I have to find a voice that doesn't sound fake, because I could do a fake country voice, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mimic a country voice. So I just have to kind of find a happy balance. Because, yeah, I got all these songs in my head that are like soul songs that I can't sing, or like country songs, but I'm not a country twang. I don't have a country accent, so it's like tough for me to write a country song and not sound so fake, and that imposter syndrome creeping in and shit. So you just have to kind of manage it and try to be real as you can, I guess. just the way they write songs is probably the most influential on me, I guess. Like, I don't know. When I first started writing songs, it was Gillian, Welch, it was Bright Eyes, it was Decemberist, and I did still love punk rock, but I was like, I can't write punk songs on an acoustic, so I need to go folky. But I later learned you can still write punk rock, you can still write heavy metal songs, you just have to do it in a different way if all you have is an acoustic guitar. So maybe I was trying too hard to be like a Gillian Welch or Bright Eyes, because I was like, well, they did it. They wrote simple songs, or not simple, but they were able to compose stuff probably just using acoustic guitars. I don't think they use piano and stuff. I could be wrong, but well, I know Bright Eyes, they use all kinds of instruments. Even like Lifted, that album, there's a lot of different orchestration on that album. Maybe not so much on Wide Awake It's Morning, but there's probably some production stuff that I would go back and listen to and say, oh, I didn't notice that. So yeah, but I would bet that most of them write their songs or come up with their ideas on acoustic guitars, and probably like somebody like Greg Graffin too. Like I just spoke about Bad Religion last week, but he did it like a folk album. I forgot to mention, because he's from like the Midwest originally, and he was into that folky stuff and country stuff. So there's a connection between all these different genres of music: punk rock, folk rock, Americana, whatever that is. If Gillian Welch is termed Americana or folk, whatever you want to call it. It's just it's a classic song. This song, I don't know. It's got an atmosphere that's hard to develop, and I know from the Relevator to the Harrow and the Harvest, I think that's what it's called. I think there's like a 10-year gap, and it's kind of crazy to go that long between albums. But it's not like they were doing other stuff, I guess, in between. But it's kind of interesting to see if an artist you love waits a decade to put out an album. Like, that's just, it gives it a different layer of like mystery and intrigue, at least in my opinion, because usually artists have to put out at least 1 or 2 albums a year, whatever contract they have. So it's kind of cool to have the freedom to do that. Maybe if you give yourself time like that, you're able to really see which songs give you that feeling. And yeah, Down Along the Dixie Line, I don't know. I'd be interested to ask them that question, like when they first wrote it, if this is all Gillian, if she knew instantly like this would be a hit song. I don't think they play it with the capo on the 5th, but years ago, when I was playing this song, I liked it better with the capo here. And yeah, they put out albums more frequently recently. They had an album last year, Woodland, that was really, really good. They had the one in 2020 with all these cover songs, like a John Prine cover and all these other ones. And they also covered Jackson, and they put it on that album. that's pretty much it. I knew I had to pick a Gillian Welch song. And yeah, there's dozens I could have picked, but this one instantly hit me like, well, I've tried to play this before, I've tried to learn it before and perform it. I kind of knew the words, and yeah, I would play this over and over again. Like I said, you could just jam on this song, it's just so peaceful. You could even slow it down, like. That's more of like a gospel feel. Way down in Dixie, oh, do they miss me down along Dixie line? Banjo strumming, butterflies humming. See, now I'm getting like a fake voice again. Right melons on the vine. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could approach a song like this. I found Gillian Welch just on a whim. I joined a music site, and I guess there was an article about Time the Revelator, so I just downloaded it. And from that first note, the first song, Revelator, I just completely got obsessed with it. With that album, and then Revival and Soul Journey and all the other ones. I had Hell Among the Yearlings. I had to just get everything because it was so good. So I was speaking of sirens earlier, because I did my anatomy of a song this week, dealing with the Lorelei myth I wrote, The Four Shades of Twilight. Gillian Welch is a siren. Like, she has that hypnotic type of voice. If you ever saw her in concert and she covered White Rabbit, yeah, she goes crazy. She sounds like a siren in the most literal sense. Like, her voice just goes crazy with the reverb. If you ever look it up on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever, her cover of White Rabbit. She does a really good cover of it. But there's not too many songs in her catalog where she belts out stuff, so it's kind of cool to hear it. But yeah, you'll be surprised. And she's in so many. I didn't even know she was in some of the other albums that I own, like The Decemberist, The King is Dead, I think it's called. She does a couple songs on that in backing vocals. She does some songs with Conor Oberst. She covers Lua. So yeah, she's all over the place. She's done a lot of different stuff. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So yeah, if you don't know her stuff, go through her catalog, and it's good summertime music, so it's probably a good time to check it out now. And I guess that's it. It's going to be difficult. The last thing, whenever I put these on Substack, the last thing I do is I pick 10 songs that, my favorite 10 songs from whatever artist I do. And this week's going to be hard because I don't know if I'm just going to pick the first 10 that pop in my head, I guess, because, well, even with Bad Religion, it was tough just to pick 10 songs. So I'm not being as worried about it. I'm just picking the top 10 Gillian Welch, David Rawlings songs that first come into my head, I guess. And yeah, go check it out on Substack. If you're going to be down the shore or listening to some music outside as the weather gets warmer, check out Gillian Welch.